Everyone, I am Bets Golden. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm pulling you in close because I'm going to make a card with you. And sometimes it's just fun to see somebody go through the process. I have these great stamps that are by Simon Hurley, and they're called Brilliant Baubles. They remind me seriously of the stamp of the decorations that I used to decorate my tree with as a kid, something from the 70s. I just love them. So I'm going to make a simple card with them using just really easy techniques that you can use in your craft room with probably a lot of stuff that you already have on hand. So the first thing I want to do is I want to stamp out the bulb that I'm going to use. So I just have this lined up in my MISTI, and I'm just going to move that over a little bit. And so this is the stamp that I'm going to be using. I may have pulled you in a little bit too close. I'm going to be using a couple different inks today because of how I'm going to be doing this card, basically. So just going to take and put this down. Now, there we go. My magnets around here so that I know that I get it all in the right spot. I'm going to be using my Versa Fine Clair. This is because I want to emboss it. So it inks up absolutely beautifully. Take this on over, press it on through. If you guys haven't taken I can't even talk again. Every day. I'm so tired of saying this. Every video I have to say it though. This is my commercial. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I certainly hope that you do so. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I come out with videos. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And actually, that one is super important to me because I really want to hear from you guys and I love to interact. And if you have a question, I do try to respond. And then if you like this video, if you could give it a thumbs up, and if you could share it, that would be epic. Look how beautiful that image just did. So from here, I'm going to emboss it, and I'm going to be embossing it in some sterling silver. But look at that. I have to get that out first. All right, so I'm going to emboss this, and then we'll be have it embossed in my silver. And now I'm going to use some black soot and ink up the ribbon that's going to lead to the branch. I'm doing that kind of off screen right now. I'm not sure how much of that you can see, but I did line it up in my MISTI like so. And I am using the black archival ink because I want it to be waterproof. Now I'm going to go back in and stamp that one more time down on the base, simply because that ribbon can be, I want it just a tad bit crisper. There we go. Perfect. I did take the branch from the set and I did it off. I want it a little bit off of the page. It just gives it, it's easier on the eye, I think. So for this one, I'm going to take my fake plant, which is a beautiful green. It's a dye ink. So this one is water reactive. I thought about using an archival color on it. I have peeled paint, which is green, but I really like this one. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it, and then I am going to use some embossing glaze over it. And that way I can work around and kind of create the background if I want it not to be all white. That makes any sense. I'm probably going to have to stamp this one several times simply because I have that line right up there. So I want it to be super duper dark. And then I'm just going to go through with an embossing glaze in one of the greens that I have, maybe peel paint, and pop that on. The reason why I'm going to go with an ooh, look how pretty that is, an embossing glaze instead of just a regular embossing powder is because I want this beautiful color to be able to shine through. You know what? I totally just changed my mind. I'm going to emboss it with clear embossing powder because I want it to. The glaze, okay, so the embossing glazes are really awesome because they give a tint, but I love the vibrancy and the green on this, so I really don't want to give it a tint. I just want to make it so that it won't move if I happen to get it wet. So I'm going to emboss this. And emboss that, and I'm actually going to emboss the sentiment too. I just thought that this I love hanging with you is so cute. So I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to stamp this out in Game Over because I'm going to actually do a really fun technique on this that includes these dye ink pads. We're going to paint with them, and I don't want any kind of water to move anything else. And since this is a dye, it is water reactive, so I need to make sure that it's set. And the best way to do that is to cover it in clear embossing powder. All right. Ooh, beautiful. So I've embossed everything that needs to be embossed, and now it will not move with any kind of wet medium. And that is what I need right now. I need it to stay nice and just won't move because I'm going to add some water. And the colors that I'm going to use for this are going to be Game Over. So I'm just going to put, I don't know if you guys saw that, but I just put some off to the side right there. And I'm just going to take my my watercolor pen, and I'm just going to pick it up and color it on in like this. So this is going to give a really awesome watercolor type feel to this, and by embossing it allows me to basically not worry about moving those lines around, and I don't have to be, it's easier for me to color. I'm such a lousy colorist that when I emboss, it creates like little walls so that the colors don't go spewing out everywhere. So that's why I like to emboss. And it just really gives a dynamic presentation. So I'm just gonna go into all those little spots right there and get that colored in. And then I'm going to color in these little guys as well. And I'm gonna do that in Game Over. And I'm gonna use the midnight around the edges of the card. So I'll finish this up and go on to the next step. All right, so I finished up coloring that in with the Game Over, and look how vibrant and beautiful that is. I was just going to use fake plant on the little stars inside of the ornament, but I think I'm also going to use some Midnight Snack and just alter it. So I just stamp once, and then I just pick up my ink, and depending on how much vibrancy I want will depend on how much ink I lay down. So I'm just going to do some green ones, and then some blue ones, and then the edges. So this is just a really fun type technique that you can do with your ink pads. No need in buying watercolors if you have dye inks. Just use your dye inks as your watercolor, and then you will get a perfectly matched palette every time. All the colors will go together. It's so fun. Okay, and look how little I used. I mean, that's crazy, right? All right, so I'm going to use the Midnight Blue on this one. And it might come out as a little bit purple if there is any of that Game Over in there. I just love the subtleness of this. And then I have something that I want to do up there. All right, so that is all colored in and done. You could swipe that, obviously, with something else so you don't waste it, but I'm just gonna clean it off of my mat. All right, so I want to take this is just a Deco Color oil-based paint pen, and I just wanted it silver, so I'm just coloring it in. You could color it in with the other colors, but I happen to have this in my stash, so I figured, why not, right? All right, so there we go. That is all colored, and now from here, I'm gonna take my Midnight, and I'm just gonna go around the edges of it with my blender. And then just going around the edges of it with my blender. And if it happens, and I know that like you can see some of those marks, and I'm okay with that because it will blend out. So I'm not too concerned about that. I can just continue to blend it on through and it will blend out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll show you down here on the bottom. You just keep loading it up. That's what I love about his inks, is they really are super blendable. And I'm just gonna really like pull that blue through, going lighter into the center like that. And I'm gonna show you what you can do to give this some more personality. All right, so what I'm gonna do from here is I'm going to make sure my edges are nice and dark. And then I'm gonna grab a wet baby wipe. I love the white rim around that. It kind of makes it look like there's a light behind it a little bit. Now, if I get blue on that, I can't like remove that color without removing my ornament color. So that's why I'm not getting like right up in there. But do you notice how those marks have pretty much subdued? And I could get them all subdued out of here, but I'm gonna take a wet wipe right now. And I'm just going to dab on. And what this does is it lifts some of the color, it reacts with the ink, and it just kind of moves it around a little bit and gives it a really cool look. And I can control it because I'm using the wipe. I'm not just spraying water on the paper, because if I spray water down on this, it could interact with that right there, and I don't want that. I want to keep that as it is. So I'm just going around and just lightly rubbing it down with my baby wipe. And then I have something else I'm going to do as well to give it even more personality. As I was coloring in these stars down here, I realized that the stencil Sweater Weather actually kind of mimics that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it down and go over some of it with Midnight, and it's just going to darken up certain areas. Because this is a blendable, buildable type ink. Voila. So pretty freaking cool. Not done yet though. I'm gonna put it on my card front, and then I'm actually gonna add a little bit of liquid pearls in silver to the center of those stars. So I wanna use I was gonna use my glitter glue, but I'm not seeing it. So, oh, it's right in front of me. That's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna use it. I like using glitter glue. Ever since I found this art glitter stuff, it's like I cannot stop using it. It's wonderful. I used to be a big fan of the tape runner, and I still have it, and I still pull it out. This is a little bit wet on the bottom, so I need to be a little bit careful. But that's all right. All right, so, all right, I'm just gonna place this here. And really, now that I'm looking at it, I should have probably have done this on a white cardstock instead of a black cardstock, but that's okay. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish off this card by taking some of our liquid pearls and just dolloping them in the middle in silver. And the cool thing is this will totally hold its dimension. So it just gives it that little bit something something. And then you can just take, if the peaks are too high, and just tap it, and it'll start to flatten it. And just fold it on over, and voila, there you go. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it helps you kind of rethink some things that you have in your stash and how you can make some really amazing cards with literally just some good dye ink pads. If you're interested in any of the products that I used, I do have them listed down below in my affiliated link. Basically, I get a small commission off of whatever is placed through the link, an order placed through the link. And it doesn't cost you anything else, but it does allow me to continue to be here on YouTube and provide free content for you and not have to go to like Patreon and charge. So by shopping my links and by subscribing to my channel and watching my videos and interacting, it just really helps not only build community, which is the first most important thing, but it also pays me and is my source of income. All right, you guys, until next time, I'm Beth Golden. Happy crafting.